Well, I'll assume people know the basics, but let me give a little bit of context to hopefully situate Nora's very incoherent, radically contradictory response. Essentially, Mitch wrote a very harsh letter addressed to Nora, and you might think it went a little bit over the line, being so insulting, but gosh darn it, if you were just listening to Nora's response, you kind of understood. It's like, oh, I see what you're saying. But let me just provide a little bit of more information. So Mitch did propaganda films for Scientology, which he admits to and has talked about, although Nora seems to suggest he didn't talk about these things, even though he has. And also, one of the people that Mitch worked with and interacted is a friend, Rachel. And you'll see this is going to become critical. Rachel was gay, and yes, she suffered a lot in Scientology. And Rachel has a wife, and for whatever reason, Nora simultaneously says she doesn't know these people and isn't insulting them while insulting them. In fact, that's all this thing was just insults, insults, insults. And one of the prominent insults was against Rachel.
Does have a negative opinion of me. I'm not aware of it because she hasn't told me herself. I don't have a negative opinion of her or her wife. My recommendation was that her wife leave the foundation as she's a token hire, and I think they're using her. As a fellow gay, I find that gross. So, but she's a full-ass grown woman who's a decorated veteran of the United States Navy, and she's going to do what she wants. I'm not.
Well, I don't even know where to begin, but I guess if you call someone's wife a token, I don't think that's a compliment. Usually when you say X or Y is a token and they're a minority group, that's not meant as a compliment. So it's just very bizarre and puzzling. Also, she seems to think that Mitch is controlling the Aftermath Foundation. He's not. So how is he responsible for this? I don't know. Maybe Mitch did persuade the Aftermath Foundation to have Rachel's wife on there. And I'll be totally frank, I did a video which was somewhat a little bit of kind of a funny commentary on the whole situation. Because you see, Aaron Smith Levin, who is Nora's friend, has his own foundation. And guess what? They have some gay members on there. So it seemed like a little bit of a cynical media campaign. But hey, maybe this is genuine. And Nora is simultaneously saying, yeah, she's qualified. Okay. Well, then she would not be a token. So the whole thing was like, wait, what? And she's denying she's insulting Rachel. And she admits, I don't know Rachel, but I'm going to assume your wife is a token. Now, that's not an insult. I'm just saying you're a token. And she's offended. Yes, Nora is offended. Well, I'm gay, and it's just very offensive. All this tokenism, all this tokens here and there. And we'll not even get into the obvious problem, which would be, well, maybe the word token refers to you more accurately. If you're going to throw that word around, it might refer to you much more than her, right? Being very, very blunt about it. So that was really bizarre that you said that and say you're not insulting someone when you are insulting someone. But that's very typical of these ex-Scientologists aligned with SPTV Foundation, that they simultaneously attack and insult people, and if you answer back, you're the problem, even though they're the ones who insulted you. So it's very, very puzzling. And I found it just amazing how Nora was playing with the numbers. So, for instance, there was a film that Mitch did, and Nora just magically kept upping the number of the people affected by Mitch's film.
The truth about your role, Mitch, in corrupting thousands, tens of thousands of people with your propaganda bullshit. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds, maybe even a million, Mitch, people saw your bullshit and were brainwashed by it. That's you.
Well, I don't even know where to begin. Given that Scientology, again, following Nora's own videos is a really, really small cult, how many people realistically have seen this propaganda film? Well, probably a few hundred, but somehow Nora magically cooks it in her brain. Yeah, like a million people. You destroyed a million lives, Mitch. Why stop at a million? Let's go for a billion. Hey, let's go for a trillion. Mitch destroyed trillions of people through the propaganda film. Where is she getting these numbers? She doesn't say. She just says, yeah, it's like hundreds, thousands, millions. Yeah, yeah, you destroyed millions of people. Well, I've lived in the US for 35 some years. Um, no disrespect, I've never heard of Mitch until recently. Never seen his films at all. I haven't even seen clips of them. I think this is one of the deeper problems with the SPTV Foundation and there's no like nice way of putting it. Their Deutschen perspective and their very 1930s Germany orientation. They seem to think we're all in the party and we've all taken the same classes, we've grown up in the same places. We're all in doing the same thing, reading the party newspaper, doing the party salute, and having Buddhist peace meetings where we give fealty to their leader. Well, no, Nora, some of us have never seen Mitch's work. We have no clue what the hell you're talking about. So we're like, wait, what? Well, we've all seen the film. No, we all have not seen the film. Why have we all seen the film? Well, that's just the assumption. We've all seen the film, guys, because, that's how it works. Well, maybe if you're part of a cult, but, if you have freedom of thought, you'd be like, well, no, I see some movies. I don't see other movies. Also, is Nora qualified as a film critic? Is she a film expert? I don't think so. So, how is her contribution to responding to Mitch's film special? I don't know. And boy, oh boy, when it comes to the numbers, she magically out of nowhere decided that she's been doing 20 years of activism. Yeah, count them, 20 years of activism.
I'm so glad that you're hanging out with Voodoo Kitty, Stephanie's bestie, because you guys still love that Stephanie. Now, who's causing more discord in the ex-Scientology community? An actual second-gen Scientologist who's been speaking out against Scientology for nearly 20 years, okay? And according to your bestie, Rachel, got the RPF canceled after I was speaking out about it for 5 years straight. Or Stephanie, somebody who's never done Scientology but just loves to stir up drama and try to make shit up about people she doesn't know, Mitch. Oh.
Well, again, most of this response by her was just mind-numbingly stupid. It was just a complete waste of time. But I am just going to be just God-smacked at that one. I'm like, wait, 20 years? Let's be super generous. As far as I know, she publicly criticized Scientology in a significant way in 2015, 2016. And what did she really do? She spoke to a British tabloid and said, "Yeah, it's true. I was taking care of Tom Cruise's kids. I was indoctrinating them celebrity kids." It's like, wow, that's out there, Nora. And I was the gay, and they don't like the gay, and see Orgo. Yeah, I'm the gay. I'm a gay victim. We'll put aside that, yeah, gay victims of the cult. They spoke out before, like Steve Mango. Remember Steve Mango? Remember him? He doesn't exist apparently. And there were critics way before Mango, right? Like Cooper, Tony Ortega. People were never in the cult. And then there were people in the cult like Jerry Armstrong. When they say, yeah, I've been fighting Scientology like 40, 30, like a really large number, like 37 years, he's not kidding around. Those are factual statements. But when Nora says, yeah, I've been fighting this for like, my whole lifetime, it's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Can you document that? 20 years? 20 years? So we're saying like, what, you criticized Scientology severely from 2003 onward? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. As far as I know, you and your mother were technically still Scientologists when you left the Sea Org. The same thing with Aaron. She created this fantasy where, like, we escaped Scientologies. Did you? As far as I know, what happened is this. Basically, Aaron's wife got pregnant, and due to David Miscavige's crazy policies, they didn't want to stay there. They wanted to have a kid. It's like, okay, fine. And they left. And as far as I know, Aaron left the Sea Org, but he was still a Scientologist. How did his great escape happen? I mean, apparently, from what I understand, he just left. That's it. You make it sound as if you, Serge, and Aaron were in some maximum, Star Wars, Death Star. You faced thousands and thousands of troopers. And is that really what happened? You fought your way to freedom, battling thousands of fascist stormtroopers? Is that really what happened? I don't think so. But I guess with Nora, we're just going to create a new fantasy where, yeah, their hero, her, and their leader, Aaron, did their German escape breakout from David Miscavige's neo-Nazi cult. And, well, I can't call them the N-word, but I would say this is pretty fascistic. Although, thankfully, their fascism is not as deadly or lethal, but it is just as insane and loopy. I've studied fascism for decades, and this does qualify as a fascist cult. Maybe a pathetic fascist cult, but fascist no less, and just alarming how they treat the truth as something to be destroyed and manipulated for some mythical image that never existed. 20 years of activism? I'd like to see some documentation there, just a little bit.